Namaste. Welcome back, beautiful souls, to my 2026 Decan Walk. And here, a little bit late into the Decan, we are in 3 degrees of Taurus. And there's something about this day that must be just right for the recording of these reflections, because this particular Decan, the 5 of Pentacles, is ruled by Mercury. And the moon on this day is also in a decan ruled by Mercury. So there's something about that energy that wants to come to the forefront. And I have lots of different decks, different cards I want to compare and contrast beyond the 5 of Pentacles and the Hierophant, its ruler of Venus, signified in the tarot by the Empress, the Magician being the ruler or the card representing the ruler of the decan of the 5 of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles, which I addressed a little bit in the last episode, is now in their strongest energy in the middle decan of their time in this wheel. And so let's begin with Hierophant themselves. And so in Taurus season, we have the Hierophant that represents the 5, 6, and 7 of Pentacles. The deck that you see on the top here is Dust Onyx, and I will address these cards. Kind of an old-time favorite 5 of Pentacles in this deck. And I will be reading to you from the words of Courtney Alexander, most definitely. I love the Venusian colors, the greens that are featured in this particular Queen Mother card, the flowers, the abundance. The solemnity of the expression really is effective in this card as well. And there's something about this relationship between the Divine Mother and the divine as represented in the 5th arcanum. The 5th arcanum is an archetype that helps us to open to communication. It helps us to open to messages. It helps us to build a relationship with the divine. And often there is another, a guide, a priest, a teacher, someone who is there to help translate the information that we are not able to receive ourselves. In a way, this figure feels a bit like one who helps to awaken a spiritual energy. This is the ancestor from the Wildwood Tarot. And of course, the Wildwood, following the Wheel of the Year, doesn't follow Golden Dawn associations, and yet there is a lot of wisdom in this particular guidebook. And I'll share with you another card, I believe, from this deck, the 5 of stones I have down here as well. The card in the middle is from the Wee Moon Tarot, and this 5th arcanum is called Sacred Paths with the keyword sign language. The ability to receive signs, be in that awareness that signs are around us. Signs are here and everywhere, every day. And again, sometimes we need someone else to point these out, someone to help translate that information. And in that way, I see the Hierophant as a disseminator of information, one who helps to translate or bring into awareness that which the divine is ready to share with us. We have a really interesting connection between the Hierophant and the Magician. So the Magician is the card that represents Mercury in the tarot. And the Magician is the ruler of the 1st decan of Taurus. And the conversation between the Magician, the magic between the Magician and the Hierophant, I think, is an important couple of archetypes to sit with. I feel that in this decan, the messages are definitely going to need some assistance to receive. And so I want to pay attention to posts that come through social media, some of those e-journals that I haven't read in ages, and a particular document shows up on my feed. I want to notice what happens out on my walks with the dog. Pay attention to strangers who show up, any odd communication that I am receiving at this time. Because between the Hierophant and the Magician, who are both gifted with the ability to connect as above with our earthly experience, we find ourselves in this place where spiritual energy becomes immensely important in what could be a rather dense and dark energy of the Five of Coins or the Five of Pentacles. It's as if this is Wildwood Tarot, this is the shaman. It's as if the shaman is here to help us stir the pot, so to speak, so that the energy continues to move, even if this is a rather casual smudging or the striking of a bowl, the ringing of a bell. I feel that the shaman, the magician, is an active energy to help stimulate the denseness that can be Taurus, the stagnancy that can be Taurus. And yet, when I think about the magician, this is first edition Marielle Tarot, I think about Mercury. Mercury as the protector of travelers. I think about the journeys of Mercury, even the healing rod of Asclepius, and how that movement of energy is such an important part of the Five of Pentacles, the main card of this decan. This is Dust to Onyx on the left and the Wildwood Tarot on the right. And I want to read, if you don't know this card, this is a really beautiful piece of art and a powerful interpretation. Every year, hundreds of thousands of refugees flee war-torn regions of West and North Africa in pursuit of a better life in Europe. More often than not, they are met with the new and even more difficult challenges of living in a country where they're neither welcomed nor desired. Many die en route due to violence, sickness, or accidents, leaving lives and families torn apart in irreparable ways. Despite the dark reality, they hold on to their faith, and many overcome the odds of this treacherous journey, emerging with renewed faith and character. The Five of Coins depicts the Italian Navy rescue mission for refugees crossing the Mediterranean Sea. The famous photo was captured in 2014 by photographer Massimo Sestini, who then launched a campaign to find survivors of the crisis so they could tell the story of their journey. The 5 coins falling into the sea represent the different types of sacrifices made for the journey. The lives, material possessions, connections to cultural traditions, old identities, and dreams they must leave behind to take on the new. And notice how the water on the wake of the ship looks very similar to the lightning bolt we see in the background of the Five of Stones in the Wildwood Tarot. Of all the qualities a spiritual warrior or seeker on the journey of life must possess, the spirit and will to endure is most important. That's from the Wildwood Guidebook. And when I reflect on 5 as Geburah, 5 as the Sephira of Mars, a place of the spiritual warrior. The journey here feels incredibly important. This idea of movement and transition. And so we are here in Taurus, in an fixed earth sign, and yet we are being encouraged to move, to weave magic, to trust in spirit, to look for signs, and to understand that a significant part of this process is about release and letting go. I shared with you a card from the Slow Tarot in the last episode as well. This is the Five of Coins. The shattered glass, or the reflections from the stained glass window, in a way feels like a deconstruction of how we have seen spirit in the past, or our relationship with the divine. And at the same time, it feels like a blessing. And then I look at the pinks and the turquoise, and I wonder about the Empress and Venus and the lessons that she learns here in a new relationship with the material world. So while the Five of Coins is ruled by Mercury, which is the magician, we are still in a sign ruled by Venus, represented by the Empress. So we can look to any deeper understanding between these two cards as well. And I was really drawn to the pinks and turquoise and the connection between these two particular cards. And the King of Discs peers out here through the cards. And another reflection that has had me rather mesmerized is the path of the Hierophant. So another way to deepen your decan reflections is to look at the path of the card of the sign that you are working with. And the Hierophant's path is from the second Sephirah of Hokmah to the fourth Sephirah of Hesed. From the Sephirah of the Kings to the Sephirah of the Guru, the Sephirah of Jupiter, a truly beneficent place that can be filled with blessings, abundance, and great, great experiences. The Five of Pentacles is a card that is often dreaded, and yet there is something here that feels so important for one's spiritual unfolding, particularly because in the fixed, dense energy of Taurus, it can be very difficult to move. And so quite encouragingly, Mercury is underneath all of this, nudging us along, healing us, supporting us on our journey, however that may be manifesting at this time. I feel that there is a promise here that if we move energy, if we are willing to release, to let go, to move through a challenge, that on the other side of that lies Hesed, the first Sephirah of manifestation, the Sephirah of Jupiter, the Sephirah where we may open indeed to our greatness. When I look at this card from Journey of the Sacred Bee, I find the greens of Venus, the regal purples of the Hierophant so beautifully reflect one another. The bravery, the curiosity of the bee to enter the door, to step into the unknown. For me, this has been an essential part of understanding the journey of the Five of Pentacles. And though it may be plagued with an infinite number of challenges, it has the potential to open a door to something we perhaps dared never dream of. And I mentioned earlier that on this day, the moon is also in a mercurial decan. And so the journal prompt, the reflection for today is one of travel, movement, journeys. And underneath all of that is the energy of healing. Mercury as the healer, as well as Asclepius as the healer. If we are brave enough to undertake this journey, to lighten our load, and to go forward, trust in the divine like we've never trusted, be open to signs, look for shapes and messages in the fire, then we may very well find ourselves in an incredible situation where we begin to see just how important it was to move on. Not only is Venus here in her glory, lusciousness, abundance of this earthly experience, but she is also here as the Great Mother, a guide, a protector, one who can hold and comfort through the trials and tribulations. That is your personal Five of Coins. I also wanted to remind you that I did a series some times ago on my favorite minor arcana cards. And this particular series might be of some help in building comfort with cards that in the past have been particularly challenging. And this was the final video of the series for the King of Pentacles. And you can see on the screen here some of my favorite King of Pentacles cards. And this is one that I find so potent. A similar mudra to the Hierophant. So many glorious connections. And so I invite you all to take your time with this particular decan. There is much to explore. Let me know how you are doing, and I look forward to your comments. Take good care. Namaste.